Good afternoon, Dr. Gary here on the road. We are dental practice brokers nationwide. Today's topic is buyer and seller of a dental practice reach an impasse. We'll talk about this in a minute, what happened, what I think the solutions will be. This just happened about an hour ago. So we're going to talk about that. As you know, we're now in 28 states. We just opened up Ohio. And we have 10 employees, including 2 CPA accountants, marketing director, advertising operations director, and 5 development acquisition individuals, specialists. So we're here to help you. Our phone number is 201-663-0935. And our website is dentalpracticeguide.com or nationwidedentalpracticebroker.com. So call us anytime between 7:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. East Coast time. The information you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Now, if you're thinking about selling to one of the large DSO groups, you have a larger practice, doing over 900,000, over 4 chairs, etc. We work with some of the DSOs. We don't have a favorite one. We change all the time. We pick and choose the best one for you. They pay our commission often, and sometimes we can even get your legal fees reimbursed upon closing. So that will help a bit. And we've done that several times. Also, if you want a free consultation for what your practice is worth, an appraisal, just call us. We could talk to you about it, give you some ideas of the market. The market's changing now a little bit. It's beginning to trend down, the prices they're offering, because interest rates have gone up. But either way, we're here to help you. So let's talk about what happened now. So we have a buyer and a seller are at less than 10% apart on their final offers. We had final offer from the buyer, final offer from the seller. It's one-on-one, and neither of them want to budge. We're talking about less than a 10% difference. Actually, it'd be less than a 5% difference at this point. So what do? You know, what happens? Each negotiation is different, because I'm telling you this story that they're 5% apart, but you don't know how far they've come along, how much the buyer's bank and accountant said it's worth, and what's the value to the seller, because he or she put new equipment in just recently, and you really don't get dollar value for that, although it makes it more marketable. So the seller thinks, hey, I think I have something very valuable here, and I'm walk-in condition. Buyer says, well, the bank told me it's only worth this much, but I'll stretch beyond what the bank says. Who's right? What do you do? Now, who should handle the negotiations? Now, we've already handed in our letters of intent, okay? However, and then who's going to handle it at this point? Is it the attorneys negotiate? Is it the broker? Under this circumstance, the attorney said, Gary, Dr. Gary, you handle it. Okay, we want you to handle it, go back and forth. And the reason why, I can get it done rapidly. In other words, I can go to the buyer, speak to the buyer, speak to the seller, all within an hour. I can speak to both of them. And the buyer's attorney can't do that. Seller's attorney can't do that. Buyer's attorney can only speak to his client. Seller's attorney can speak to his. They can't cross over. I'm the only one that can cross over. Obviously, I maintain confidentiality. So what happens here? Well, there's some other things that should be considered, but you have to know the circumstances of every deal, because I feel the seller has come a long way, but I also feel the buyer has come a long way. And who's right? I don't know who's right. I think they're both right, and they're both wrong to walk away, because it's got to start all over again. The economy may change. The interest rates in this environment are going up, so that may change. We don't know what the next offer will be. I always like to stick with an offer that came in that most parties are happy with each other, and they provided an offer which is somewhat close to the asking price, or within target range of the asking price. So I don't want to lose the buyer, I don't want to lose the seller, because you don't know what the next circumstances would be. That is, the buyer could move on, try to find another practice, and we have a issue with the, right now it's an issue with the price. But the next issue could be the landlord. It could be another problem. I don't know what it's going to be. So the buyer is going to go into the unknown, and the seller, to wait for another buyer, go through the same process. What is that buyer going to offer? And that buyer is going to go to another bank, and they may get a different offer. So I don't know what's going to happen under those circumstances. So now we have a situation that I have to go between the two, talk, rationalize, let them think about it a little bit. We're 5% apart on a deal under $600,000. We're 5% apart. I don't know. I'll try to rationalize with both of them. Maybe both of them got to sleep on it tonight, and we'll see. But this is a time that both attorneys said to the broker, me, handle it. So that's what I'm trying to do the best I can and understand. Of course, I was a dentist for 25 years. I think that helps somewhat. And we've been doing this for 13 years, dental practice brokers, and we're across the country. But every deal is unique, no matter what anybody tells you. There's no cookie-cutter deal. And there's emotions involved in every deal. Besides the cash flow and the financials, buyer feels it's worth X dollars, sellers feel it's worth X dollars. Who's right? They both are right. So what you have to do, okay, buddy, getting passed by a hot rod, I don't know where he's going, but it must be more important than where I'm going. But that's okay. Let him pass you. Take your time. There's more important things. This guy's rushing somewhere in a pickup truck. He has to get there, and he got to be first. Well, you should take your time a little bit. Be self-employed. Perhaps your income will exceed that fellow, and you won't be in as much of a rush. You can be a little bit more relaxed. So think about that. Don't rush. Be self-employed. You're making the right decision, too. Don't have a boss. Anyway, getting back to it, we will try to put this together. Let's see what happens. Stay tuned on our next video. We'll have new up-and-coming negotiations that are going on. Hopefully you can learn from all these negotiations and utilize them when it comes time for you. We have some big negotiations going on right now, and each one is different. I try to explain, with maintaining confidentiality, kind of what's going on and what we have to deal with. But each one is different and peculiar, and you've got to understand that. All right? Many of the doctors tell me, well, this is not my first rodeo. I bought 5 practices. Well, I've done over 150 deals. I've been doing this for 13 years, and frankly, it's always a new ball. It's always a new deal. It's always a new negotiation. There's always a different twist. There's always different emotions. And there's 10 moving parts. So we try to put it together. Let's see what happens. I'll see you, team. Bye now.